Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody's afternoon going?
Hi, Linda.
Hello, hello.
Well, hello, hello. We're doing great.
Yeah, how are you?
Not as good as you.
Listen, I'm good every day. Every day is a great day.
Isn't that right?
Well, of course it is, because you're all work with me.
Right.
100%.
I'm lucky y'all love me.
We're the lucky ones.
Are you look? There she is, Miss Maui.
I was just about to say, where's the dog mat? Oh my gosh. Hi, puppies.
Matt, he is.
There she is.
She beautiful.
So cute.
Trying to fix my movement sign. It's falling.
Just for Linda.
Oh my gosh.
That's my little baby girl, Maui.
Oh my gosh.
hear that?
Beautiful.
Hear that? Okay, I know
So
you
cute.
heard it.
He brought her in. I was laying on the floor next to that dog.
Oh my
She's so
God.
sweet. What a
Hi,
cuddle.
Haley.
Hello, hello.
I miss you.
I miss you. I miss all of you guys. I feel like
You gotta
I
get
don't
out.
know.
Gotta get to the office.
I know I have not been there in like a couple weeks
I
now.
know.
Life's just
You
been
have
crazy.
postings and you disappear.
I know. I know.
I'm waiting 3 minutes because people get on late and I want to wait until at least 5 minutes, 2:05 or something, if you don't mind. Because it's Robin. Hi, Camille. Joan's on here.
Hello.
I swear I got 5 calls from like all these buyers. Like 2 minutes before I got on, I'm like, I gotta get on a class. Hope we get more people. I know some people told me they were gonna be on. Hi, Camille.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. And
Good.
everybody, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Camille's always doing wonderful.
I know.
Doing my best.
So's Matt.
Want to grow up like Haley.
Trying.
It was a good day in the office. Colleen's DocuSign class.
Mm.
I'm gonna finally get rid of dot loop, so I save myself $7 a month.
No, dot loop is going away, huh? I never liked dot loop. No
I
offense.
kind of
No
thought it was
offense to
easy,
anyone.
but saves me $7 a month. I mean, it's not that much money, but it's 2
Yeah.
cups of coffee, right?
Every
I love
penny.
DocuSign. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not in dot loop, but a lot of my agents tell me they hate dot loop. I don't know what it is, but when people try to send me stuff through dot loop, I can't open it because I'm a lender. So I'm like, I don't know what you're sending me, but I can't open it. But DocuSign I love because even in New Jersey, if people are not doing their job like attorneys, I just send the stuff to the people and send them DocuSign because it's just so quick.
I guess you don't have to be a member with DocuSign like you have to be with dot loop.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I have my own account with Movement for DocuSign, so it's pretty awesome. But dot loop, I'm not an agent, so I don't know if dot loop's just for agents. I'm assuming it is.
I guess David Culture is upset because he loves dot loop.
Does he?
Yeah.
It didn't go away. Like you can still, like I still use it.
Okay.
Just like I have to do 2 steps. Like I can get everything signed through dot loop.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have to upload it all into Command. So I get it signed and have to download it and then upload it into Command.
Wow,
So it's like a
that's
2-step process. It's, so
Yeah.
it takes extra time.
But with DocuSign, it's already linked.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Take
gotcha.
that extra step away.
Yep. Angela's joining us. Are you there, Angela?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, she's from Keystone. Have a Keystone person. Give it 2 more minutes because people texted me that they're getting on the call. And we're starting off with a little quiz with a prize. So I want everyone to be up. There's Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Where'd your picture go? Everybody likes to hide. I like to see faces.
I'm here, but my hair looks crazy today.
So
I
does
don't care.
mine, but I don't care. It's humid out.
Crazy hair's good.
The only person hiding should be me, guys. Do you see what I look like right now?
You're beautiful.
Oh, jeez.
I'll turn my camera on so we
You
can
look
be
fine, don't worry about it.
You look beautiful. What are you talking about, Wendy?
It's
Great.
not good. It's wash day. The hair just go
Well, it
crazy.
looks great. Everybody looks great.
Matthew had a birthday, did you not?
I did.
Happy
Hey,
birthday.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
I was hoping our closing would be on your birthday, but unfortunately,
I know.
that'd have been a nice birthday
Later.
present. Oh, and just so you know, I texted, I know the VP of our appraisal company.
Uh,
So I texted him and I said, listen, whoever you got on that, because I'm allowed to talk to an appraiser. So I said, whoever you got on this appraisal, can you please nicely beg him to get the revisions in? Because I really need to close this on Monday. So he said he's to reach out to the appraiser and see if he can nicely ask, because sometimes if you ask, they get pissed off, but
yeah, it's great.
we need it. He needs to get it done. So let's hope for the best.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, so I think we got most people on. I know a couple more people are coming, but okay, so we're gonna start with a little game. And whoever gets the most questions right gets a prize. You guys ready? You're all like, what? I like to be interactive. I don't want you just sitting here looking at me. Okay, so you got a pencil and paper, everyone? I'm going on, you have to be honest. Whoever gets, so I'm gonna ask you some questions and I want you to write them down and then we're gonna go over the answers. You ready? Okay, what is the minimal down payment for an FHA loan? The minimal.
Want to answer now?
Nope, just put it on your paper.
All right, sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
already- I'm gonna follow instructions already.
You're the troublemaker.
No, I'm just,
Okay, question number 2. What is the minimal credit score a buyer needs for an FHA? Question number 3, which agency insures FHA loans? That's a hard one. Matt, see his eyes. Which agency insures FHA loans? What is the maximum seller's assist / credit you can get on an FHA loan? Maximum. And number 5, actually, I'm going to do 2 more. What is an FHA renovation loan called? How long does a buyer need to stay in a home with an FHA? Minimal. And can FHA be used for a second home or investment? Yes or no? All right, let me know when you're all done. So we're going on the, what's the word? When you trust people, honor system. We're going on the
honor system here.
Okay, we're going on the honor system. I'm going to go through the answers and then you're going to raise your hand if you got the question right. And then I'm going to write down who got the most. And then you get a little prize. Okay, here we go. Minimal down payment is 3.5%. Who got it right? Raise your hand. Okay. Minimal credit score is 580. Who got it right? What, Haley? I couldn't hear you. Okay. What agency insures FHA is HUD? Good. Maximum seller's assist or credit is 6%. Good. What is an FHA renovation called? 203K as in kite. Good. Can FHA be used for second homes or investments? That is a big fat no. Good. And how long does a buyer need to stay there? 1 year minimal. Okay, good. Who got 5? Well, I had 6, 7 questions. Who got 7 right? Haley. Who got 6 right? Robin. And who got 5 right?
Me.
All right. Oh, we got a tie. Okay, so Robin gets first place, Wendy and Matt second place prize. So you're gonna get a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts,
Aw,
all 3 of you. So
That's
I
my
will,
favorite place for my
I
tea
will
in the
figure out how to
morning.
get
Thank
those
you.
to you. I just came up with this last minute because I'm like, I'm tired of just like teaching and be boring. So I will get to those gift cards to all 3 of you. I'll let you know if I have to leave them at the front desk for you. Hi,
Appreciate
Casey.
it.
You're welcome. Good job. That was really good, Robin. We just had a little game, Casey, of FHA questions. So sorry you missed it.
Sorry,
Our winners were Robin, Wendy, and Matt. So good job.
Maria, I'm a little slow today. So the second home was a yes?
FHA, can it be used for second homes and investment is no.
Okay.
Okay, so this is why I went over this because we're gonna go over some other stuff. So first, I'm gonna see if I can share my screen with a flyer. Can you see that?
Not yet.
All right, darn it. Let's see if I can figure this out. How come I can't share here? Oh, there it is, share. All right, hold on. It's gotta be, oh, I think that's it. Can you see anything?
Yep, it's coming.
Does it, you see it now?
yep.
Okay. How about, where's the other one? I have 2 of them I want to show you. Why is it being so difficult? I hate the share thing, but I want to show you guys something. Darn it. What am I doing wrong? I have 2 of these open and I only can see one of them and they're both open. Anybody know what I'm doing wrong here? No, nobody can help me? Wendy, you're tech savvy.
I think you can only show one at a time. Like you'll have to go toggle over to the other tab to show that one.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
it's only gonna show what the main thing on your screen is.
okay.
What
Hold
are you
on.
trying?
I'm trying to show. Now they both disappeared. That stinks. All right, let me try this one. Ready?
Yeah, they're right because on broker hour, they can only share one document at a time.
Yeah.
It
All right, I'm
toggles,
trying to share this
it
one now.
toggles back and forth.
All right, hold on. I have this one open. Sorry, I always have trouble with sharing. Let me try this one more time. Any luck?
Yeah.
The myths of
Starting.
FHA?
Yeah,
You can see it?
yep.
Yay! Okay, so this is a nice flyer, and you guys can actually get this co-branded with me. So Movement offers lots of co-branding. It's all free for you guys. There's lots of things that I have, but this is just one of many flyers. If you're making a nice little kit for your home buyers, this is nice because there's so many myths about FHA, and it's such a great product. Like more than 50% of my deals in PA are FHA. So number one, FHA takes longer to close. Absolutely not. I close FHA loans as quick as 2 weeks. I've saved a couple deals from conventional to FHA and closed them in 10 days. So that's number one. So this is a flyer. If you're ever interested, just text me, Maria. I would like some co-branded flyers. I just have to make them for you. Myth number 2, FHA borrowers frequently get turned down. That is not true. FHA is actually really flexible, and we're going to talk about all the benefits of this. It also has a bad reputation, which I feel bad because FHA is actually used for people with lower credit and also good credit, and we're going to go over that. FHA appraisals are picker than conventional. This is a huge myth, in my opinion, in my experience of 9 years. FHA, they really do care about big things like a step missing, safety things, a big hole in the roof, a window's missing. They're going to really look for safety items. And of course, the peeling paint's the number one thing. But just know, and this is so important for you guys to know, if I do an FHA deal with someone and the appraiser goes out, he is still going to appraise for the value. He's going to do the comps. He's going to do all that. If there's anything wrong, that doesn't mean he's not going to appraise the value. He's going to say, okay, here's the value with the comps, but I got a broken window or I got a handrail missing. The buyer or the seller can fix it. It will come as a full appraisal with inspection, final inspection. And then if that happens, I immediately notify my buyers and buyer's agent, listen, we have some final inspection items. We need to get them on it right away. I've had wonderful appraisers that, very minimal, and I've had some ones that are super picky, and then they have to go back. So when they go back, they have to make sure it's done. And I've had buyers do it and I've had sellers do it. So never like look at a house. I never want you to look at a house and say, this is never going to pass FHA, because people say that all the time and it's not true. It'll be appraised. We still go by comps, everything in the area, square footage, bathrooms, beds. It's just the condition if there's any major issues, but they can be fixed. And then the appraiser just goes back out and says, yep, it's done. Sometimes the appraiser will even accept a picture so they don't have to go back out. But know that it's not true when people say FHA loans are pickier. They are a little bit with certain things, but overall, they're still going to appraise the value. They're still going to just give you final inspections. Guys, I have conventional appraisers that have final inspection. It's nothing to worry about. And if the sellers will allow the buyers to fix it, I don't care who fixes it. Compliantly, we don't care. We don't ask who fixed it. We just want it fixed. When it's fixed, the appraiser goes out. Any questions on that? Okay, so remember, it's really important that, when you're buying or selling at whatever side you're on, don't rule out the FHA, because FHA is, and we're going to talk about, a great product, and it allows a lot of buyers to afford more because of their guidelines. Okay.
I have one, Maria.
Sure.
Is it okay if an agent fixes it?
Yeah, I don't care who fixes it. I've had agents fix things. Yep. I've had agents scrape paint and paint the side of a house. I had an agent get a contractor to fix. We don't care who fixes it. It just gets fixed. And then you say, hey, Maria, it's done. I then notify the appraisal department to tell the appraiser to go back out. So yes, absolutely. I've had buyers go into sellers' basements. We don't care. So yes, that's a big yes.
I know I have fixed things in the past, but I just want to make sure it's okay that we did it.
Yep. Now you can't, give the seller a bill. If your agent's nice enough to do that, you can't bill them and put it on the CD. We can't allow that. But if you want to do it out of your pocket just because you want the transaction to close, that's fine. We're not going to question who did it. Okay. Okay. This is another, I'm going to save the other flyer for later in the process. I want to go over a couple basics. So stop sharing. Okay. So now I'm back. All right. Like we talked about in the quiz, the Federal Housing Administration is part of the U.S. HUD. Okay, that insures FHA. So it's not a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac product. They have certain guidelines. So we're going to go over some of the benefits. So I want to see if anybody knows. Does anybody know how many units you can do for an FHA? Up to how many?
4.
1 to 4, and you have to live in one of them, right?
Very good. Excellent. So that's up to 3 possible rental incomes you can use. How many of you know that when you are living there, the other income, even if someone's not living there, the projected rental income of the other units can be used to help qualify?
Oh.
Okay. Good topic to talk about. So if my buyer is only making $40,000 and she wants to buy a $350,000 multifamily, what happens is if there's nobody living in the second unit, so we don't have a lease, we don't know the rental value, the appraiser would go out and they give us the rental value. And I can use 75%. So if that's a $2,000 a month rental, I can use $1,750 of that monthly income to add to it's like having a second job. This is huge because when you have multiple units, you can use all of that. Okay. So when you have a buyer looking for multifamily, it's very important that it doesn't matter. Like I need to talk to them, of course, but when they have that income, if they're looking for multifamily, I'm going to be reaching out to my agent and saying, hey, for this property, what do you think? And I'm relying on my agents to try to give me an idea, because I don't like to qualify my buyers with too high of a rent, because then if the appraisal comes in and the appraiser says, oh no, that's $1,500 market rent value, then we're going to have a problem with the pre-approval. So if you're not working with me, if you're working with someone else and you're doing an FHA multifamily, it's really important to try to get accurate rental income for the other properties, the other units. Okay. Super important if they're relying. Now I have some buyers that qualify without that rental income. So I don't even use it. But if I need it, I usually go a little low just because I had one deal where the agent swore it was 3,000 a month. She swore up and down, there's no doubt. And then the appraiser came in, it was in Jersey at 2,500. That's a $500 difference. And he didn't qualify anymore. We saved the deal by putting more down. But the bottom line is I rely on my agents because I don't want to qualify someone and then find out it's going to fall apart. So that's a big one. And with up to 4 units, you can still do the 3.5%. So that's huge. 3.5% down on an up to 4 unit. This is why people use FHA a lot, you guys. So if you're if you're on the listing side or a buyer and you have an FHA, these people might have excellent credit. They might even have more than 3.5% down, but they allow, because a conventional, there is a product for 5% down up to 2 units, but up to 4 units, it goes up to 25% down. So a lot of people use an FHA simply only because it's a lower down payment. So that's a number one advantage, in my opinion, of FHA. 3.5% down, that's crazy. And you can use the rental income. Go ahead, Casey.
Was it only 3.5% down if you have multiple units, or is that with 1 unit as well?
3.5 is everything. Single family up to 4 units.
Okay.
Robin?
So the 1 to 4 units, you have to live in 1 unit. And is that just for up to a year?
Yeah.
Still in that 1 unit?
Yes.
So then you
always
could
have to
put a
live.
tenant, could you put a tenant in that unit after a year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then could you, and I think I already know the answer, could you go and buy another 1 to 4 unit and live in that unit?
So this is the tricky part. You're not allowed to have multiple FHAs. So you
You
could
have
go
to wait a certain
conventional.
time period.
Yeah. You could go conventional. So when you have an FHA and you want to leave after a year, you either have to sell it and then buy another FHA, or you have to keep it and then go conventional, which some people have done as well. Okay. So FHA is pretty strict on that. It's only, this is very important. FHA only used for primary residence. Only, no second homes, no investments, nothing. What's going on my screen? Did I do something? Oh, that was weird. Okay, can you see me now? Did you see that pop up? That was weird. All right, I'm trying to do a snip of this class. So hold on, I need to do a snipping picture. Everybody smile for Colleen. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let me just. Well, that didn't take. We're gonna do that again, people. Hold on. Don't smile yet. Darn it. Okay, here we go. Smile. All right. Ah, Helen's on. Perfect. All right, let me just save this because I have to send this to Colleen after the class. Bear with me. FHA class. Okay. So again, like I reiterated, primary residence only for FHA. Unfortunately, we have a lot of fraud with people using FHA and they're really using it as an investment. So to protect yourselves, you want to ask those questions. Okay. I'm very big on asking the questions because I don't want to be involved in any type of fraudulent transaction. And they do have secret shoppers, guys. They have secret shoppers. Lenders have now knocking on doors and seeing if the person is living there. It's happened. I've heard a couple stories from some of my friends at other companies. They are checking because there's so much fraud out there. So save yourself, from being involved. If someone's going FHA right away, okay, are you buying a primary residence? Are you going to be living there? Yes. No. Okay, then we have to do a different product. And that's where I come in to tell them their options. Maybe they can go conventional, but it's really important that you guys know that FHA cannot. Some condos can be used with FHA. They have to be FHA approved. Sometimes we can do a spot approval, not the easiest thing to do, but sometimes these condo places are FHA approved. So that's a good thing too. let's talk about loan limits. So every county has different loan limits. So when I'm doing pre-approval, I am triple checking to make sure the loan amount for my buyer is within that county. Now, they might be looking in different counties. So I'm always making sure that I put the zip code in every time I crunch the numbers for a property, just to make sure, because I've had some where they were over the max. So then they had to put a little bit more down. So know that FHA has county limits for loan amounts, okay? Any questions so far? Anything popped out? Any situations? Nothing yet, okay. All right, I wanna talk about FICOs. So minimal credit is 580. Now, does anybody know how a lender runs credit and what score we go by?
Is it the average? Was that 3?
Nope,
No.
it's 3. This 3 is good, but what do we take? The middle, the highest, or the lowest score? Did you say middle, Helen? Okay, yes, it's the middle score. Does anybody know why we do that as lenders? Yep. Okay. The reason we take the middle, and all lenders do, is because the credit bureaus always report at different times, and that's why everyone has different scores. No, they all just, you know, have their dates of when they update their reports. So the law says instead of the highest or the lowest, we go by the middle. But here's the caveat. If I have 2 to 3 buyers on a loan, and people get really upset about this, but this is the law, I have to go by, let's say it's 2 people, I have to go by the lowest of the mid score. So if I just had one the other day. I had a guy who's 620 and his wife was 520. So I had to take her off the loan. I couldn't even use it. Now, of course, I'm always going to try to do a credit repair, rapid repair, but her scores were pretty bad. But we always go by the lowest. So people think, and buyers think, that you can actually just pick whatever you want. I can just pick whatever score I want. I can use their income, but not their credit score. I can use their credit score, but not their income. You guys, when you're doing an application with a loan, we have to use everything. You can't pick and choose the good parts, okay? So I'm using their income and their credit. And if one of them is not good, I'm gonna take them off the loan to hopefully make it a better situation. I've even had conventional loans where the woman and the husband and wife have completely different scores and it affects the rate. And if they can afford where I can take that person off, I just take them off. Wendy, we have the same situation with Carlene. I just doing it with the husband. And if you can do that, it's a great way to get a better rate, simplify the process with less documents. I do it all the time, especially if their credit scores are drastically different, because it's going to affect the rate. Okay. So 580 is the middle score for FHA. Now we do work with an investor that will do between 500 and 579. I have not done that yet, but it's available. I don't know what the qualifications are. I do know it's a 10% down though. So that's important. So if scores are lower and they can put 10%, then might be able to help them out.
Is that just a movement mortgage thing?
Every lender's different, but I know we have an investor that will do it. But some places will even take the risk themselves. Some local banks will take 560. Everyone's got different guidelines and different avenues they can use. But overall, FHA guidelines is 580. Anything under that would have to be a special broker, a special program. And every single person and every lender probably has, you know, I've had people, you know, email me, oh, I can do it for 480. I'm like, what? Yeah, it was like 30% down. That's the problem. You know, if they're going to risk that, they're going to want a larger down payment. And the whole benefit of FHA is the lower down payment. Now, let's talk about any questions so far? All doing good? Okay. I want to talk about non-occupying borrowers. This is another situation we have. So an FHA buyer, remember we talked about, it could be a primary. If a mom or a dad want to co-sign for FHA, that's perfectly fine. But if they're not going to live there, it's called a non-occupying borrower. They're not occupying the property. That requires a 25% down payment. So that's a huge difference. So I'm always trying to make sure that hopefully people are living together so we can do that lower down payment. But I recently had a deal. It was a rescue deal and they had that situation. I'm like, you know, I had to take the parents off because, you know, they didn't have the 25% down. And so we just did it with him with the 3.5, but he couldn't afford as much. But, you know, now he's on his own and now he can do that 3.5% down. 25% down, you might as well go conventional, you know, if you're going to do that with an FHA, in my opinion. So let's talk about how you have more buying power with an FHA buyer. Does any of you know what the debt to income ratio is for conventional? What's the max?
What is it? 56.99?
It's right under 50. Some we can go up to 49.999. But it depends on credit. I do notice with people with higher credit for conventional, they can really max out that ratio. FHA is 56.99. So that leaves thousands of dollars of buying power for the buyer. I had a conventional guy, his wife was having a baby. He had 800 credit scores. He had a minimal down payment, but he just needed some more buying power. And I forget how much it was. It was a good 10, 15 grand, because it depends on the taxes, of course, every property, right? We increased his buying power. And then what happened was when he made the offer, Jersey, unfortunately, Jersey isn't like FHA. It's such a bias. It bothers me. So I have to fight really hard for my FHA buyers, especially in New Jersey, because they just seem to think it's this horrible loan, and it's not. It's a great loan. So I'm reaching out to the sellers, and those of you who worked with me know that I'm a big advocate of my buyers. I'm always reaching out when you're making an offer. I'm always emailing and I'm calling that seller's agent. If I have a buyer going FHA simply because he needs a higher debt to income, I am letting the agent know that. I'm letting them say, hey, the only reason they're going FHA, there's no problems with this, is because he can afford more for this house. And that's it. So it's a great product. And sometimes I even do pre-approvals for both. If I can tell them what they qualify for conventional with 3% down, and I can tell them what they qualify for FHA. So we get both maxes. That way they have a lot of options. So if you're an agent, buyer, or seller, I highly recommend that you consider FHA, because a lot of times it really is a situation with either a lower credit score or the debt to income. I've had, so, you know, listen, I'm divorced. I know what it's like. And I've had many people go through heartache of people running up each other's credit, the spouse, and doing awful things and it ruined their credit. And they have great jobs and they have money down and they have money for closing costs, but because of their credit scores, they have to go FHA. So, you know, I'm a big advocate of FHA because a lot of my FHA buyers, their credit's down for reasons that are not in their control, especially student loans during COVID. They were supposed to defer the student loans. They didn't. These kids coming to me in their 20s and 30s have perfect credit except for their student loans because they marked them late. It's terrible. And they have to fight. It takes 6 months to fix it. It's just really bad. So just know that FHA, guys, on either side, buyer or seller, it's really a great product. And if you're doubting it, call the listing agent. Call the buyer's loan officer and say, hey, just curious why they're going FHA. You know, open communication, you guys, is huge. And you want to make sure your deal doesn't fall apart. So I'm all about communicating with both sides and just making sure everything goes smoothly. Anybody? Yes, Robin.
So with the only the 3.5% down, they're gonna have the PMI insurance, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about that next. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, then I'll let you go then.
Okay. So actually that was next on my list, PMI. So just so you guys know, PMI is private mortgage insurance. With a conventional loan, there is it's a third-party fee. I can shop our lender. So every lender has multiple companies they work with for PMI. Private mortgage insurance is like car insurance, health insurance. If you're not putting 20% down with a conventional loan, you will have to pay insurance. It goes by the down payment and it goes by the credit score. So the lower the down payment and the lower their scores, the higher the risk. So I'm going to shop for that. And I always discuss with my buyers, okay, here's the best quote I could get you. PMI, and this happens a lot of why I switched to FHA. If a guy has a 650 credit score, that's only 30 points over the 620 minimum for conventional. He's going to get killed with PMI. So if I'm seeing a 300-400 a month PMI, I'm switching him to FHA, will probably be 100. So PMI with FHA is usually lower a lot lower, especially with lower scores. So that's another reason why I switched to FHA sometimes. And sometimes it's just a matter of doing it. And then in a year later, we just refinance into conventional because maybe right now their credit score is not so great. So yes, PMI is on both loans, but PMI with FHA is FHA regulated. I can't shop around for it. And it's usually quite reasonable and a lot, usually sometimes cheaper than conventional. So does that answer your question, Robin?
Yeah, it does, but you can never get rid of the PMI, right? Is that
Yes,
true with the
you can
FHA?
if you
Or do
refinance
you
the
have to get,
conventional loan.
oh, but if you don't refinance it into a conventional, you can't get rid of it, right? Or do
Correct.
you have to have so much equity built into the house?
Nope, that's the one disadvantage of FHA. FHA, no matter how much equity, if you have an FHA loan, you will pay PMI for the life of the loan.
Okay,
With conventional, if you put less than 20% down, once you reach that 20% threshold and you think you've reached it, you reach out to your lender, you get an appraisal done, and you can get your PMI. Like I just got my PMI taken off with my conventional renovation loan. So PMI for FHA, you can't get out of it unless you refinance a conventional, which a lot of people sometimes I've done. During COVID, I did a million of them because the rates were so low and everybody was FHA and they had all this equity in their house. So yeah, you can definitely get out of it, but you got to go conventional. Okay, Robin? And then the funding fee. So I would say, honestly, the most disadvantage for funding fee is FHA is the funding fee. The funding fee is a percentage of the loan amount. I think it's 1.65. It's added to the loan, so it's included with the loan. So you know how you have 200,000 and you're putting, 3% down. So then you have your loan amount. After you subtract the 3%, a 3.5 will do with FHA. It then adds in a funding fee. So some of you who have worked with me, because the system does this, it doesn't look like they're putting down that down payment because the FHA, my system will add in that funding fee. So I have to actually do a different letter so people don't get confused, because when you make these offers with our compliant letter, it subtracts the 3.5 and then adds in the funding fee. So it looks like they're putting 2% down, which they're not. So I usually do a different letter to make it easier for you guys. But the funding fee is absolutely not refundable. It's added in, so it's not paid out of pocket, it's added into the loan. And it depends on the sales price. So I would say probably that is the only, in my opinion, the only disadvantage to FHA when it comes to the loan, because usually the rates are better. Usually the PMI monthly is cheaper. And like I said, it allows them to increase their buying power by thousands of dollars.
Maria, is PMI required on all FHA loans? Like, is it mandatory? It is.
100%. And doesn't matter if you put 80% down. The more you put down, the lower it will be. You cannot get out of FHA monthly PMI unless you refinance the conventional a year later or 2 years later, whatever. But it's required. It's required on all loans, and unless it's a conventional with 20% down. Conventional 20% down, you're fine. Anything under 20%, you're paying a monthly PMI. We look for different companies who we work with to get that quote. And then FHA is straight from FHA, and they have their own. So I just click on the PMI and it just automatic. So all lenders should have the same PMI monthly because it's a government regulated. It's not movement. It's not someone else's PMI. It's FHA. That makes sense, Angela?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
What quick question? What percentage of the purchase price was the funding fee?
I think it's 1.65. I'll text you.
Okay.
I can't
I have
remember.
a question
Sorry.
on that too.
Yeah, I think it's 1.65. If you want to wait a second, I can actually go into this loan I have.
Maria, is that funding fee like a one-time thing, or is that in their monthly payment every month?
The funding fee is a flat fee, so it's added to the loan balance up. So you have 200,000 minus 3.5%. Then you have that loan amount, and then they add the funding fee. So that's the total loan amount once. But if you refinance again with FHA, they're going to charge it again. That's why you really, with FHA, you really want to just stay FHA. And if you can refinance, you want to go to conventional.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe you can even get out of that PMI depending on the equity of your home. Okay. So there's two things: monthly PMI, which conventional has under 20%. And then there's the PMI funding fee, which gets added. And that fee, when you're doing a pre-approval with me, Haley, I think Wendy, Camille, I can give you that fee. because it's imported in my system. So any pre-approvals, you're like, hey, Maria, what's the funding fee? I can give that to you very easily because it's just automatically imported. Okay. Any questions so far?
Maria, so
Anything you've learned?
can you prepay the PMI like for a year?
Nope, not for
Nope.
FHA.
FHA, okay,
Conventional, you can,
got you.
but I don't usually do that too much because it can cost quite a bit of money. But
Yeah.
FHA has its own guidelines and it's a great product, but it definitely, can't be switching things up. So we talked about appraisals. Okay, last thing I want to talk about, two things. One is gifts. This is what I love about pre-approvals. Oh, I'm sorry, 6% seller's credit, seller's concession, up to 6% of an FHA sales price. That's huge. With conventional, it depends on the down payment. So for instance, you have a 3% conventional, I can only do 3% seller's assist max. I get 3.5% on a FHA, I can do 6% of the sales price. So that is huge. It's across the board. FHA is 6% max seller's assist. Conventional, it goes by the down payment. I think it's 3% to 10%. You can do 3%, but anything over 10%, I think you could do 6% for conventional. But FHA is across the board. That's another benefit. Conventional stricter. And gifts. Let's talk about gifts. So gifts with conventional have to be from family. Can't be from a friend. Can't be from a work, your boss. What I like about FHA is they're more flexible. They allow a close friend. So I had a couple buyers, this one guy had to write a letter that he's been best friends with this guy for 20 years, that he lived with them most of his life. He just did a letter of explanation explaining and they allowed the gift. So FHA is much more flexible with allowing gifts from other people other than family, close friends. I had a lady whose aunt was like a mother to this girl. So it was pretty cool. I've gotten many gifts approved with FHA because if I can get the buyer to explain the relationship and how they are like considered family, I can use it where conventional is much stricter. So that's a good one because a lot of people are having friends and people help them that I would not be able to, no way be able to do that with conventional. Okay. All right. So the last thing I want to do, anyone any questions or anything? I'm going to go on to the FHA Boost program. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen again. See if I have it up. This program's a great program, but it's only FHA. So I'd like to talk about it. All right. Let me know if this works. Does that work? A new way? Okay. So FHA, Movement came up with their own program called FHA Boost. So this is a great program because with the state programs, as most of you I'm sure know, we have no control over the state. So a lot of buyers call me, they think they can get pre-approved for a state program. You can't submit anything to the state until you're under contract. So I never tell people that their down payment assistance with the government, the state, is guaranteed. I always like to make sure they have backup funds. If it's a quick closing in 2 weeks, there's no way I'm doing a down payment assistance program. FHA Movement is a whole different ballgame. So this is not a grant. They take out a second lien. It's in-house. As you can see, credit scores are 600 instead of 580. And then the DTI can go up to almost 57%. So you can actually take out a loan for your more, for the down payment. And you can also, depending on how much you qualify for, you can also take some for your closing costs. So for instance, I did a deal with these buyers that they got a seller's assist. They got, they did the 5% program. And then that allowed us to do 3.5% of the down payment and the other 1.5% toward closing costs. It was all in-house. I closed it in less than 30 days. So I don't have to worry about the state. So this is something we can completely control. It's like a regular loan to us. Single family, multifamily, condos, we can still do it, but this is all in-house. So this is a great alternative if you have someone who needs down payment assistance. And if they qualify, they can borrow that down payment and closing costs, include it with their loan. It's all one payment. And then they can come out of their pocket with less. So, and then I can do it quickly. I'm sure, I don't know if any of you have done a down payment. Have any of you done a down payment with the state yet? No one? So I've tried them. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of luck with them. What I don't like is I don't like not being in control. Okay, so when you do down payment assistance with state, Monroe County, you have to have a contract. You have a contract and we have to get it completely cleared to close. Everything completed, done, title, clear to close, appraisal. Then we hand it off to them and then we're at their mercy. So it could be a week, it could be a month. I'm a little control freak and I like when I can tell people when things are going to happen and come through for the closing date. Sometimes these they don't come in, and when you're relying on other people, there's nothing I can do but wait. So this is a great alternative. It's only FHA, 3.5% down, but this is a great alternative for people. I have a couple of them now. They make great money, but they also want to keep some of their funds in the bank to like maybe buy furniture or just so they have some money left after. So this is a great program. It's only available through Movement Mortgage. It's not
Maria,
for us. Yes.
so let's say they come into some money and they're able to pay off that 3.5%. There's no like prepayment penalty or anything like that with that program, right?
As far as I know, no, but I will definitely double check on that.
Okay.
Okay, because I've done a couple of them. And let's see, amortization. Okay, yeah. I'm 99.9. There's no prepayment, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to email underwriting. Let me write that down. Prepayment. I'm going to say no, but I just like to double check since it's a new program.
Is
Prepayment.
the interest rate higher on that 3.5%?
So you have two rates. You have the loan amount and then you have the second lien. The second lien is, if you see in the details, is sometimes 2%. So if there's 6.75, that second lien is going to be 8.75, but it's a small amount. So for instance, I had these guys, it was like 6 months ago, they had, I think it was like 6.5, and then their payment was like an 8, but they only borrowed 6,000. So 8%, when you're doing that, it's not going to be a high payment. Their payment was only $100 for the lien. So it is the second lien is higher, not the first. So then they combine the two. If you have a mortgage payment of 1,500 and your other lien is 100, then your total payment. And I will explain that to them, that it's two separate, but it is paid together. So it's a great program. My buyers were very happy with it.
Maria, what's the term of that second lien? It's shorter because it's less money, right?
10 years.
10 years. Okay,
You
thank
see
you.
the details up here. It says 10-year amortization and a
Okay.
rate of 2% above the first lien rate.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is a really great program. So you have any FHA buyers that or short cash and they make good money, this is a great product for them and they want to close quick. Okay. All right. I think that's it, what I have for now. Anything else that I didn't go over? I don't want to go into too much because sometimes if you get into another topic, it can go into other topics. So I'm trying to stick with just FHA and compare it a little bit to conventional, and just urge you guys that it really is a good product. And these flyers I'm showing you all can be co-branded. So if you're interested, I have first-time home buyers, I have 10 do's and don'ts, what the loan process, like we have all kinds of flyers and social media stuff that you can get for free from me. I would just need you to fill out a little link to give me permission, and then you can put these and print these out and put them in your folders. I always tell people you should always have folders everywhere you go. Cards are great, but people lose cards. Make a nice folder, put a couple flyers in for movement, put a couple flyers in about yourself. And I have stuff in my car all the time. You meet someone at the grocery store, you can actually hand them a folder, and folders are harder to lose than a card.
I like
So
this 3.5% assistance, especially for people that are just kind of like starting out and
Yep.
they don't have a whole lot of money together.
But they have good income. This is a great
And they need furniture to sit on. So
yeah. I mean, listen, I always tell my buyers the truth. Renting is totally different than buying. You buy, you got to have money left in the bank. You have to, like, if something goes wrong, something needs to be repaired, you got to have money. So I call myself a mama bear with this because I bought 2 homes and I was very fortunate when I was married to do it. But now I have my own home as a single mom and expenses are coming up. I had freaking window damage from a storm. I had a tree go down, thousands of dollars. So I had 2 trees goes down in the last 6 months, cost me $6,000. So I like people to really understand that you are not a landlord. You are your own landlord. You have repairs. So I really try to enforce people to have thousands of dollars left in their account when they close on a loan. I don't care what program it is. It's just smart. You want to enjoy it. You want to really make sure that you're, doing. And if sometimes if they don't have it and they got, even after this program, if they got zero in the bank, I'm going to say, listen, maybe we should wait a couple months. I want you to get some more money. I would never recommend a buyer have nothing left in the bank after a closing. It's just not, it's not something I do. It's not about making the sale. It's about making sure that they're going to be able to live there. They're not going to foreclose and they're not going to be stressed out. And that's why I like to make sure that they have money left over. It's just smart.
So like, especially now, because you have so many buyers that are deciding to waive inspections and maybe they didn't get that home warranty and they've got, they go in the house and something's broken that they weren't expecting. They've got that cash in the bank that they can get it fixed.
Yeah. Anything, anything can go in a house, you guys. God knows we all know we have our houses that, I have a brand new house. I renovated it. I ripped it on a $70,000 foreclosure. I rebuilt it. It's worth $450,000 after 5 years. I got out of my PMI and it's wonderful. But let me tell you, even getting the lawn cut cost me $200 a month. I can't cut half an acre. I don't have time for that. So it's expenses. Like the debt to income, you guys, is not their cell phones, their groceries, their diapers, their food. This is just their income minus their monthly minimal payments, not their total debt, their minimal car payment, their minimal credit card payment. Everybody thinks it goes by their total debt. It doesn't. You take that gross income minus all those little debt, you come up with a debt to income ratio, and then you start plugging in sales price of what they can afford. That does not include living. So I want my debt to income for my people to be good. So I know I'm doing the right thing and getting people in a house they can afford. And if they can't, and they want to take that chance, it's their choice. But I'm always going to tell people the truth that you might want to wait and save up a little bit of money. Because it's important. Also, FHA wanted to mention, they are a little bit more picky about employment. Like conventional allows you to have an employment gap for so long. Depending on the situation, FHA is 6 months. So if I have an FHA buyer, I'm asking all the questions and making sure I got nothing going on that's going to affect if we go under contract. For those of you who've worked with me, I am very big on attention to detail. I make sure I get address issues during pre-approval process before we even shop for homes, because I've never had a deal fall apart on my fault. And I pride myself on that because it's your commission, my reputation, and my relationship with you, and of course the person's house. So the last thing I want to be telling someone is you're not qualified anymore. I don't even know how people do it. I've never had to do that, and thank God. But sometimes I have to dig a little deeper to make sure that I do it right, because there's a lot of guidelines with income and stuff like that. So I'm done for now. We're a little done early. If anybody has any questions, anything that's come up with FHA, feel free to speak. Raise your hand if you learned anything today. Everyone, Haley, you didn't learn anything?
I'm raising my hand.
Haley didn't raise her hand.
Sorry, I smiled instead of raising my hand.
Well, I hope this was educational for you. I am going to get the recording from Colleen, so I will send it out in the next day or two, just in case you have to go back to it. But always reach out to me, you guys. Again, if you're interested in any flyers, let me know. I will just need you to fill out a form, like a little online link. Give me your picture. And some of you are on my list reports. That's another platform that's free. Beautiful flyers for your open houses. It gives you free social media content. Every single day you get 3 shareables, and it's not co-branded. So this stuff looks like it's coming from you. The materials are co-branded, but the social media posts are all free. So this is something I pay for, and I have like 60 agents on it. And it's wonderful. And you also get, if you have a listing, you'll get a text and an email saying your marketing kit's been completed. It's a really great system. I don't know, any of you here of list reports? It's a great platform. You don't have to pay for it. If you want to be on it with me, let me know. Happy to help you with anything I can do to take things off your plate. And the flyers are great if you want to be able to have tangible items to give your buyers. Sound good?
Yep.
Thank you all for coming. Any
Thank
last
you.
minute questions?
Nope, great job.
Okay.
Real quick,
Great
is the
presentation.
first time homebuyer program, is that an FHA?
Oh, I forgot to mention this.
Oh.
First time home buyer is not FHA. It
Okay.
is a primary home buyer. It's a alternative if you don't go conventional. Conventional has home ready. It's a first time home buyer program, 3%. FHA is not the first time home buyer. It's a great alternative, but it's a primary residence. So I've had, it's not the only first time home buyer. It's an alternative, but it's not the
Gotcha. Thank you.
one. Make sense?
You know, the other thing I wanted to say on that, if you were a first-time home buyer, and correct me if you're wrong, and you got divorced and you're looking to purchase another home, you would still be considered a first-time home buyer, right?
Yes and no. So I had mentioned this at a sales meeting months ago. You are considered a first-time home buyer if you have not been on a mortgage or a deed in 3 years. So if they're divorced, Robin, and they still own a home, that person cannot get a loan. A first-time home buyer still can get a loan, but can't get first-time home buyer. You have to be off of a deed, off of the mortgage, cannot have any ownership in a house in 3 years. I've had people get divorced, they go rent, and they're both renting for 3 or more years. They're both considered first-time home buyers again.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good one because a lot of people, they sell and then they go rent for a couple years and they got all this money left in the bank and they don't realize they're first-time home buyers. So 3 years. Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming. This was fun. And I owe Robin, Wendy, and Matt a Dunkin' Donuts gift card. I will get that to you, I promise. I'll text you guys individually. And if I have to leave it with Linda, I'll leave it with Linda, but I'll have those next week. Thanks for participating. Hope you guys had fun.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
All the best.
Bye. Have a great day.
Yep, you too.
Thanks. Bye.